Everyone is asking the same question: where are Tesla's robotaxis? And it's a fair question, because if you only look at the number of rides available today, Tesla's Robotaxi Rollout can look very slow. So the public rollout still looks small, but the clues around the rollout are getting much bigger, and they found exactly 11 of them, scattered across fleet lots, permits, job posts, software updates, and Cybercab sightings. But most people are missing these signals, and when you put all of those pieces together, the story starts to look very different. So are we watching a failed slow rollout, or the quiet setup before the market realizes this is starting to scale? Let's look closer. Okay, first let's be honest about why people are frustrated. Tesla Robotaxi was supposed to be the big moment, but the actual visible rollout is still early. Tesla Robotaxi service is currently tied to Austin, Dallas, and Houston. Austin appears to be the main testbed. Dallas and Houston are part of the rollout. But this is not yet a giant national network. Tesla still hasn't given the market the numbers everyone wants. So yes, it's reasonable to be skeptical. If Robotaxi is supposed to be one of the most important businesses in Tesla's future, why does it still look so small? But this is where the story changes, because while the visible service still looks limited, the clues around the rollout are getting much bigger. And after going through the latest footage, I found 11 clues that most people are missing. Let's start with the first one. Robotaxi is not just an idea anymore. Tesla is offering autonomous rides starting with Model Y in multiple Texas cities: Austin, Dallas, and Houston. And in Austin, the service area reportedly expanded across the entire metro area. And that matters because Tesla is not only testing one tiny pocket, it's widening the operating area. And that's one of the first things you would expect before a bigger rollout. And then you have the registrations. Tesla is reported rising robotaxi registration counts in Texas. Some reports shows around 51, then 59, and then 69. Now, we have to be careful. Registered vehicles are not the same thing as active vehicles giving rides every day. But the direction matters, because if the number keeps rising, that suggests Tesla is preparing more vehicles for the system. And then you have the physical lots. In Houston, recent spotter videos showed a lot filled with Cybercabs and Model Ys. Some reports said the Houston lot had more than 30 Cybercabs, and the same lot appeared to be mostly filled with Model Ys believed to be part of the Robotaxi fleet. And that is important because the public may be looking for Cybercab rides, while Tesla may still be building the active fleet with Model Y first. So the rollout may have two layers. Model Y is the fleet today, Cybercab is the vehicle being prepared for the next phase. So let's talk about the Cybercab, because this may be the most important clue in the whole story. Because Model Y Robotaxi is the bridge, but Cybercab is the product Tesla built specifically for Robotaxi. With no steering wheel and no pedals, designed around autonomy, cost per mile and fleet economics. And now Cybercabs are not just a concept anymore. Official production has started. Elon has posted Cybercab production, and Cybercab has been seen driving itself out of Giga Texas. And recent footage showed a record number of Cybercabs at the Giga Texas at one dot. Around 102 Cybercabs were reportedly spotted there. But it doesn't stop there. Houston reportedly had around 31 Cybercabs at a Robotaxi hub, and Dallas reportedly had around 50. Cybercabs have also been spotted in places like Seattle, Mesa, Las Vegas, Miami, Salt Lake City, and other cities. Now, those are probably validation units and test vehicles. But that is exactly why this is interesting, because if nothing was happening, why are Cybercabs being produced, moved, tested, and staged in so many places? This is where the steering wheel details matters, because Cybercabs have been spotted with steering wheels and drivers. That sounds strange because Cybercab is supposed to be a no-wheel, no-pedal vehicle, but for testing it can make sense. A test vehicle may need temporary controls for engineering validation, for public road testing, for tasty fallback, or for regulatory reasons. This suggests Tesla may be testing Cybercab in the real world for the final no-wheel commercial rollout. And there may be a transition happening, from test units to production-ready units to fleet deployment. This is the key tension. Are these Cybercabs just being tested, or are they being staged for rollout? The honest answer may be both. Tesla probably needs vehicles in many cities. Every new FSD release needs validation, and every city has different roads, turns, and traffic behavior. But here's another clue. Some of these vehicles are starting to look more production ready. Wheel covers, front plates, decals. Those details matter because they cost time and money. If a vehicle is only being used by engineers for testing, you may not need every finished detail, but if vehicles are being prepared for fleet use, you start seeing more complete builds. Of course, that doesn't prove deployment, but it changes the question, because Tesla is not keeping all of the Cybercabs next to the factory. factory. They are moving them out into the field. Houston, Dallas, Las Vegas, Arizona, Florida, and so on. And in manufacturing, moving more vehicles farther away from the source can be a signal of confidence. If a product has major hardware problems, you usually keep it close. You don't ship large numbers around the country. So the fact that Cybercabs are showing up in more locations doesn't prove everything is solved, but it suggests Tesla may be getting more confident. And that's why the rollout may look slow from the outside, while the system underneath is getting ready. But cars are only one piece, because the bigger clue is the infrastructure around the cars. A real robotaxi network needs charging, cleaning, maintenance, city approvals, and now we are starting to see signs of that layer too. Tesla has been linked to robotaxi-related facilities in multiple places. In Irving, Texas, reports point to a dedicated autonomous fleet operations facility. And in Las Vegas, there are reports of a Cybercab car wash and service project at Tesla Center Mohawk, a facility that looks designed for a fleet, not just normal customers. And in Austin, Tesla reportedly filed plans for robocar charging and car wash upgrades. In San Antonio, there are plans for a staging and charging hub that could support dozens of robotaxi cars. And in the Phoenix metro area, filings point to private charging stations, places like Chandler and Mesa. This is the part most people are not paying enough attention to. A company doesn't build robotaxi hubs, car washes, charging stations, dispatch facilities, and fleet operation centers if the plan is only to run a tiny demo forever. Tesla may not be waiting for one magic software switch, it may be assembling the network piece by piece. And there's one more clue here. Tesla is hiring for robotaxi operations in multiple cities, not just engineers. Fleet support, fleet supervisors, night shift operations, maintenance, real-time issue response. And that matters because a robotaxi network is not just an AI model, it is an operating business. And once Tesla starts hiring people to run the fleet, that tells you the rollout is moving from software theory toward daily operations. Now look at the permit trail. Nevada is one of the biggest signals. Tesla reportedly applied for an autonomous vehicle network company permit in Nevada, and the number was huge. Up to 5,000 robotaxis in the first 12 months after approval. Well, that doesn't mean 5,000 cars appear overnight. A permit application is not deployment, but it shows intent. Tesla is not asking regulators for a tiny science project. It's preparing paperwork for scale. And the location matters too. The Nevada application reportedly includes Clark County. That means Las Vegas territory, with airports, tourism and events. A market where cheap autonomous rides could matter a lot. And then there is Arizona. A reported first responder interaction plan points to operating areas across the Phoenix metro area. That is not one tiny test zone. That looks like preparation for a bigger market. But for that to happen, Tesla still needs the software to be ready. And this is where FSD comes in. And that is exactly where the new interface appears more robotaxi-like. Destination arrival options, driving to messaging, pullover behavior, parking choices. And these details sound small, but they are not small for robotaxi, because Tesla's fleet has reportedly crossed 11 billion FSD supervised miles. And that means more data, more edge cases, more validations, more proof for regulators. And now Europe is starting to approve FSD supervised country by country. Netherlands, Estonia, Lithuania, Denmark, Belgium. So this is not robotaxi approval, but it's regulatory progress. And Tesla is already using safety data to support the case. Here's another clue, the safety data. According to the recent discussion, the latest NHTSA update showed one new Tesla robotaxi-related crash from the latest reporting period. But the reported case was a stopped robotaxi that was rear-ended by a pickup truck. So according to that transcription, Tesla was not at fault. So the key pattern is that there still does not appear to be a major at-fault robotaxi crash. What we have seen so far appears to be mostly minor incidents, fender benders, or cases where Tesla was reportedly not at fault. And for regulators, that matters, because every month without a major at-fault robotaxi incident helps Tesla build its case. So the real question is it safer than the average human driver? If Tesla can keep stacking evidence in that direction, the regulatory conversation changes. And that may be why Tesla is moving carefully. One major incident could slow everything down, but clean safety data can unlock the next phase. There are two possible interpretations. The bearish interpretation is simple. Tesla is moving slowly because the technology is not ready. The fleet is small because the service is hard, and the market should not price robotaxi until Tesla proves a real commercial scale. That view is understandable, but there is also another interpretation. Tesla may be moving slowly because it's building the full network carefully. Maybe the goal is to get the system safe, reliable, and operationally ready before scaling. Because with robotaxi, one bad rollout could damage the whole story. So if Tesla is moving slowly, that doesn't mean nothing is working. It may mean Tesla is trying to do this the safe way, but if you look closer, the rollout may already be visible. Not as as one giant launch, but as a system being assembled. Model Ys appear to be the fleet today. Cybercabs are being built for the next phase. Vehicles are being tested, cities are being prepared, and permits are being filed, facilities are being planned, FSD is improving, regulators are seeing safety data, and Tesla is building the operation layer around the product. None of this proves Robotaxi will work at massive scale. Tesla still has to show real rides, real economics, real reliability, real growth, but the idea that nothing is happening, that is getting harder to believe because the pieces are there, so look closer, because the rollout may be hiding in plain sight. And if you want to see another Tesla mystery unravel, watch this video next, because in the next video I break down what Tesla may be hiding about the new Optimus V3 and the clues that maybe explain why it still hasn't been revealed.